different cloth, that's where I'm seven from. I made my own lane, so you can tell me no. You can never stop me, never lock me, never block me from the top. See, I'm not cocky, keep the stick in hand like hockey. Turn the tables, no this jockey with the squad, and they all got me, yeah.
Welcome to the Big East Caravan. It is great to be with each and every one of you. We are live here from the campus of Xavier University outside the Cintas Center. This is the debut of the Big East Caravan. Paul Fritchner alongside Adam Baum, and it is great to be with you for this show presented by Invesco QQQ. Well, Adam, it is great to be here. It is a very cold, brisk, chilly night here in Cincinnati, but the students have been lined up outside since I was told 5:30 this morning.
Insane.
5:30 this morning.
I was still sleeping.
Yeah, so was I. 5:30 this morning. So we have a lot to get to here today. We have a couple of Xavier legends coming on the show today. We have Matt Stainbrook, a former Xavier player back from 2015 here today. We have Xavier's all-time leading scorer, Byron Larkin, going to be in attendance today. We are previewing everything around the Big East tonight, both on the men's and the women's side, as well as what we are all here to watch. The number 4 Connecticut Huskies taking on the Xavier Musketeers. All right, before we get to that, Adam, we have a few things to talk about. We had the battle in the Queen City here, but around the Big East, we want to talk a little bit about Seton Hall. The Seton Hall Pirates right now in first place in the Big East. Their only loss on the season to these Xavier Musketeers in the Big East play, to these Xavier Musketeers right here at Cintas a few weeks ago. As
Look
we're
at the
flying
conditions.
away. This is
Rearing
what we're
their
battling
head.
through. That's
Yes.
okay. The outline is right here in front of me. Adam, as you look at this conference and what Seton Hall has been able to do so far this year, 3-1 and impressive wins at that. They survive an upset scare last night from Georgetown, able to squeak that one out. But rank win after rank win, especially a 15-point win at home at the Prudential Center over Connecticut.
They play a tough brand of basketball. I think that's what stands out the most about Seton Hall is that at times it's not always necessarily pretty, but they find a way to get wins. They get the job done repeatedly. And I look at what they've done in the Big East so far, and it sort of embodies, I think, the chaos that might be down the road in this conference in that someone is going to separate, or maybe they won't. But it's kind of like there are going to be good games after good games, and teams that maybe you aren't expecting to win are going to find ways to win in this league this year.
That's right. Seton Hall, again, with that slim win last night over Georgetown, but a win is a win. They keep rolling. And the other big storyline, St. John's at the Garden tonight taking on Providence. Rick Pitino and the Red Storm are rolling right now. Win after win for the Red Storm. Feels like a matter of time before they enter the national rankings. This is a really good Red Storm squad.
Well, how much more fun is the Big East when St. John's is relevant and they're winning basketball games and they're competitive? It feels like it's been a little bit, but Rick Pitino's, he's got them back where they're supposed to be in year one. And, you know, they gave Xavier a really tough time
They did.
at Carnesecca Arena. And I think a lot of teams are going to experience that this year in the Big East.
All right, let's talk about the game that we are here for. Number 4 UConn and the Xavier Musketeers in front of a sold-out Cintas Center. The students here are going to be rocking and rolling all night. This tip at 8:37 tonight on Fox Sports 1, a nationally televised game for a massive tilt in the Big East.
Massive. And I want to get this out of the way right now. John Fanta was supposed to be here.
He was.
Behind this desk. I heard from my sources that he declined this to go to a Cleveland Browns pep rally. I don't know if that's true or not, but he was supposed to be here. That's why me and Paul are sitting here right now behind this desk.
And you know what we're doing here? We're braving those conditions. I can't imagine
are.
what it must be like in Cleveland.
John's cozied up. He's probably got a space heater. He's in all of his Cleveland Browns gear. He's probably having the time of his life, but we're here. We're getting the job done.
He's warm. He's watching us with the
Yeah.
gloves on and the hats and everything else. All right, let's talk about this game here tonight, Adam. Xavier and UConn. We'll get more into it in a little bit coming up. Byron Larkin and Matt Stainbrook going to join us to talk a little bit more about it too. But I want to get your initial thoughts on this game.
Well, I'm super impressed with UConn so far. I mean, it's hard to win a national championship and then to turn around and add some new pieces, lose some guys, and to look like you haven't really lost a step. And I think the most impressive thing so far is you lose Donovan Clingan, your 7-foot big man who does a little bit of everything, and the level hasn't really dropped. And I think that's what's scary for a lot of people in preparing for and playing against UConn, is that they find ways to just punish you, even without their big 7-footer. So Xavier's going to have an ultimate test here tonight at Cintas. They're going to really rely on this crowd. But UConn is just, they do so many different things really well that it's hard to find an avenue where you can win a game like this.
Hey, you take a look at the Big East standings and where this conference is right now, and Sean Miller talked about it yesterday. You look at the maybe 2 to 7 or 3 to 7, 3 to 8 portion of this conference. You have Seton Hall at the top, but all the way down the rest, it feels like a razor-thin margin is going to separate 3 to 8 this year, or even beyond that.
And I found that really interesting that he said, like, the separation from 3 to 7, it's going to be 1 or 2 plays. It's going to be a minute at an end of a game. And I think you saw, if you're Xavier, you felt that at Villanova. And there's been some other games so far in the Big East where it's like how you finish these games, whether or not you can hang on and squeak out a win, like Seton Hall did against Marquette, even though it got a little dicey at the end there. That's ultimately going to decide how this league plays out, is who's ready and prepared to finish basketball games.
This is the Big East Caravan. We are live from outside the Cintas Center. We will be right back right here on this broadcast presented by Invesco QQQ.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh, warm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Welcome from New York City as we get set for our Big East tournament. 1, 2, 3, sold out Madison Square Garden. This is going to be a loud atmosphere. Cross court, jams it down.
Listen to this crowd.
At the buzzer, it's rejected. What a game at the world's most famous arena.
Welcome back to the Big East Road Trip live here from the Cintas Center in Cincinnati. We have some students over here to our left, Adam, getting some shots up on the Papa Shot. This is a real deal. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill Dave and Buster's Papa Shot. This is the real thing.
It is. I think Stainbrook could dunk from where they're shooting.
I think so, too. I think so, too. This is a great night here tonight, everybody. It is great to see all of you. We have some fires out here. Everybody's staying mobile, staying warm. But we are joined now by Xavier Great, Matt Stainbrook. Matt, it is great to be. You're wearing the Cleveland Browns hat, I see. Now, Adam was just talking about our good friend John Fanta. If Fanta was here, I know he wore the hat for Fanta, and then he showed up to me.
I really did. I wore it in honor of John Fanta. I think every person from Cleveland right now is in pretty high spirits, so I wanted to make sure we.
Yeah, absolutely. And now here we are. You're sitting next to two Bengals fans, so it goes. Matt, it is great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a little frigid out here, but like I said, I'm from Cleveland. We're built a little bit different up there, so this is warm weather.
You two are just two peas in a pod right here.
Both beanies, both beards.
Yeah.
We're having a blast.
We are. Matt, I want to ask you first, just to kind of catch up on where you've been since you played here at Xavier, how things are going for you, and what you're up to right now.
Yeah, so after my career at Xavier, I played 7 years professionally, 1 year in Spain, 1 year in Germany, 5 years in Spain, 1 year in Mexico. I've since moved on, hung up the shoes, time to get a big boy job, and now I'm located here in Cincinnati, enjoying my life.
So we're not driving Uber anymore.
We are not. I thought that I'd get away without any Uber comments.
No, I had to because my follow-up question to that, we're going to talk about the city of Cincinnati. And I want to ask you, as somebody that's now lived here for a while, and we go back to that Uber comment because you were able to maybe get around the city a little bit and see some things here. And now that you've been in Cincinnati, I'm not going to ask you the skyline question. I'll ask you outside of that because I know you like to see some of those things that are maybe off the beaten path or off the grid. What are some of your favorite parts of Cincinnati as we take this road trip here to the Queen City?
Definitely. I love getting out on the Ohio River, walking around the Ohio River, especially the Covington, Newport, Kentucky side. A lot of cool neighborhoods, Main Strasse. I mean, you can go anywhere around here and find good views of the city. That's another fun thing for me. I'm a big foodie, food-wise. If you haven't been to Wild Mike's on the west side, you are missing out. I think Adam can understand that.
I can understand that.
Mike's Mix Medium. That's all you need to know.
I've been told many, many times. Now, I'm not a huge wing guy. For those of you that don't know or haven't been to Cincinnati, Wild Mike's a big wing place. I'm not a huge wing guy, and I know that maybe 100 people just turned the broadcast off or wrote me off. We'll see. But I've heard it's one of the best places in the city.
Definitely. Another good topic. If you ever go to Jeff Ruby's, get their onion straws. Off menu, make sure you order it. Crispy,
off menu.
Delicious.
Yeah, see, that's why we bring the guests like Matt up here. You find the cheat codes, you find the things that maybe not everybody is seeing. Matt, what else? When you look at what Xavier allowed you to do, both playing professionally and preparing you for a career, as you just talked about, outside of basketball, what are some of the things that maybe you're most happy about having made the decision to come and play here and be a part of this community?
Definitely. When I look back at my time, it's something that molded me as a man. I got to listen to the Chris Mack interview on the Sean Miller podcast with you.
There it is, the shout out.
Yes. And man, it just brought back some nostalgic memories of the ups and downs of being a teenage young man. My overall education at Xavier was something that's helped me in my career now. And then obviously being part of a team, something bigger than yourself, and then seeing the levels that Xavier has grown over the past years. Well, there's the facilities, the team, academics, getting a new medical school. I mean, it's incredible to see that grow, and to think that I was just a small piece of that, a little cog in the machine, means a lot.
Yeah. Well, now you're here tonight for a big-time basketball game. That's not a strange thing for Xavier, but can you sort of set the dynamic for a player going into a game like this? Like, what does it feel like? Does it feel different?
Yeah, it definitely does, especially when you know it's a big primetime game like that. It becomes more mental than it does physical. And I think our coaching staff, especially during my time, and I know Sean Miller's going to be the same way, it's not about getting hours and hours of practice and beating up your body. It's about focusing on the little details. So I know they have the scouting report in the locker room. I know they've dictated who's left-handed, right-handed, shooter, green dot, red dot. I mean, they go well into that. And it's really that kind of preparation that's going to decide these games. Because for me, the biggest thing is these games are won by the big swings. Whoever can take that punch and not have it be they just went on a 10-point run, that's going to control it.
Yeah, one of the things I think is really interesting about your career, Matt, and now has dominated the college game, is that you transferred here to Xavier, and transfers have taken over the college landscape, both in basketball, football, any sport. It has taken over how this sport is viewed in general. And I'm curious from your perspective back when you made the decision to come here, and the transfer world was a whole lot different back then than it is now, and having to sit out and then having to bide your time, practice, but then be able to play. When you look at the lens of the transfer window now versus when you had to make that decision, do you have any thoughts on that? Do you have anything that you think about from your time as opposed to now?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a little difficult to evaluate the talent when it comes to that, because there's so many people transferring. I remember when I decided to transfer, I hung up my phone and I turned it off, charged it at night, and I was like, oh man, maybe I'll go to Case Western. Maybe that's what I'll do, a D3. Woke up to 25 missed phone calls the next morning, and I was like, whoa. But now I think you really need to look for transfers who are hungry and want to kind of grow that step, not so much worry about the extracurriculars, other stuff. And that was what Xavier offered, so that's why I really chose that.
All right, fellas, I got one more question for you, not for me, for you, and this is a big one. We need you to put these microphones down. We're going to have you play Papa Shot against each other.
Really?
Really.
You know what? I've been working. Paul can attest to this.
We play basketball against each other almost every morning. I see his shot. You know what he did today, Matt?
What?
He changed his shot.
I made an adjustment.
We made an adjustment this morning, Matt, so we'll see.
I got old frail bones, but I'll give it a try.
All right, here we go.
No
All right.
dunking.
We're moving on over here. Matt, you really could just reach your right arm out and probably just put this ball in the hoop. All right. Ready, set, go. We're tied at 1. Oh, we are tied at 2. We're perfect so far. Brick, 2 for 3. Oh, Baum with the slight lead. Now we're tied at 3. Matt with a one-shot lead. Matt still with a one-shot lead. Still with a one-shot lead. Matt, we need a bigger lead here. We're tied. 10 seconds. Matt with a one-shot lead. Now we're tied again. 4 seconds. Adam, you got to tie it. Buzzer beater, Matt. No, Adam at the buzzer. Adam, that's a winner. Woo! Adam, let's hear it. Look at that. Adam, the shot adjustments worked. All right, Matt Stainbrook, thank you very much for joining us here today on the Big East Road Trip. I'm sorry it ended that way.
Happy to be here, and that's just reestablishes that it's a good time to hang it up. I think that might be the last one.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching so far. We'll be right back after this break on the Big East Road Trip.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Electricity in the building because this is the big one. This is the Big East, folks. Nothing's going to be easy. How about that? Sold out Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. Listen to this building. It's absolutely rocking. Cross court, jams it down. Big fella. Champions of the Big East tournament.
The Big East Road Trip, Paul Fritzner and Adam Baum with you. And for the students here, you all have a chance, and as well as anybody watching, you have a chance to just scan that QR code that you see. For people that are watching, it's on the side of your screen right now. For all the students here, it's right down there on the sign. That QR code, all you have to do is scan it, and you're going to be entered to win tickets to your choice of either the men's basketball tournament this year or the women's basketball tournament this year on behalf of the Big East Conference. So make sure you get that phone out, you scan the QR code. It's that easy.
Can we win?
I don't think we can win.
All right.
I don't think we're eligible. Unless you want to. You want to throw your name in the ring.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? All right, Adam, let's talk about this game tonight. We kind of touched on it a little bit at the start of the show, but let's really break it down. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of the 4th-ranked Connecticut Huskies tonight and the Xavier Musketeers. This is a Connecticut team that will be without its star and Donovan Clingan. And you just kind of give me your overall thoughts on where we are tonight.
Well, I think from Xavier's perspective, like the one thing I think Xavier, despite their record, I think they've done a really good job of this year is they've gotten up for the really big games. Like they've played well against really tough competition. And they're going to need that same mentality here tonight because UConn presents maybe the toughest test that Xavier has seen this year, just in the way that they can attack you. I mean, UConn offensive rebounding, they're number 8 in the country. I'm sure we're going to talk about rebounding.
That was the next point.
Yeah. But they defend really well. They can score it at a high level. They've got a lot of guys that play in their rotation that can hurt you. So this is one of these games for Xavier where you have to be committed. It has to be a 40-minute game. If you come out and you're not ready from the opening tip, if you come out after halftime and you're not ready for the second 20 minutes, this is the type of game where it can get away from you because of how talented UConn is.
Yeah, you look at some of the keys to the game, and I think, one of the biggest ones for Xavier, as you mentioned, and something that Sean Miller has talked about time and time and time and time again over the last 2 weeks, they have to rebound the basketball.
Yeah, and you look at it like they did not do that against Villanova, and they lose by 1 on the road. I mean, Villanova generated second chance point after second chance point, and you lose a 1-point game. That's such a tough way to lose when it's like you get a stop on the first try, and then you give them a second chance. Now, we talked about Seton Hall earlier. Seton Hall's a really good offensive rebounding team. Xavier in this building right here did not let them do that, and I thought that was a big reason why Xavier had so much success against the Pirates. This is an area of the game tonight where it's like if Xavier's not ready to rebound, if they don't match UConn's physicality, you are not going to have a chance to win. Now, the counterpoint to that is if you are committed to rebounding and you're ready to block them out and keep them off the offensive glass, I think you're going to give your offense a bunch of chances to get out and run and use that pace and the tempo that Xavier does so well.
Let's talk about some players to look for in tonight's game. We're going to start on the Musketeers side, and you look at guys like Quincy Oliveri, who's had such a spectacular season so far, Desmond Claude, Davion McKnight, guys that really need to step up and have big games if the Musketeers want to pull off this upset.
Yeah, those are the guys that can change the game in a positive way for Xavier. Davion McKnight, I think that if you break down Xavier's season, when he impacts the game offensively, Xavier tends to win. When Des Claude is efficient and he attacks the rim and he can finish at the basket, Xavier tends to play really well. And when Quincy Oliveri gets going from the perimeter and can see some shots go in, it works wonders for a Xavier offense that does not have a ton of shooting. So those are kind of the 3 guys from Xavier's perspective where it's like you don't want to say it's all on their shoulders, but a large portion of what's going to happen tonight at 8:30 falls on those 3.
And on the Connecticut side, you look at the top, Tristan Newton, a transfer in, Cam Spencer, all the way down the list for a Connecticut team that is the defending national champion, certainly brought back talent, brought in some talent this year. Alex Caraban, of course, a name that Big East fans know very well. Xavier's going to have their hands full.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how UConn plays and who they rely on. Tristan Newton leads them in scoring and rebounding. He just does everything. And then you add in a guy like Cam Spencer. I believe he's shooting 44% from three-point range. He's one of the best shooters in the Big East Conference. And then Alex Caraban, who Sean had so many good things to say about Alex Caraban and the way that he changes UConn and impacts their winning product. And it's like if Xavier has any chance in this game, you have to start to win some of these individual battles, because if all 3 of those guys, if all 3 of them go off, it's going to be much harder for Xavier to do anything tonight.
Those are some of your keys to the game and some things to look for ahead of tonight's matchup between Connecticut and Xavier. We're going to step away, take a break, and when we come back on the Big East road trip, going to be joined by a couple of Xavier women's basketball players, Michaela Scarlett and Taylor Purvis. That's all coming around the corner. This is the Big East road trip presented by Invesco QQQ, the official sponsor of the Big East Digital Network.
At Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country. It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
1, 2, 3,
From signing day,
we'll put this right here,
to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
It is great to be here as the Xavier band, the cheer squad. Everybody gets into the mood. We are closing in on tip-off here outside the Cintas Center. Coming up next, Xavier women's basketball right after the break. So women's basketball action around the conference tonight. The Connecticut Huskies taking on Providence at 6:30. Also Creighton and Butler getting started at 7 o'clock. That's over on the women's side. And I'm back here outside the Cintas Center, joined now by a couple of Xavier women's basketball players, Michaela Scarlett, Taylor Purvis. Great to be here. You're cold. How are we feeling? Taylor, I'll start with you. You're dressed very warm. How are you feeling?
Yes, I'm freezing. This is nothing I'm used to at all. I'm from Houston, so the coldest it gets is like 50, so I'm freezing.
Michaela, how are you doing?
I mean, I'm used to it, but I'm cold. So.
Michaela, I'll start with you, and I know you've been injured at points this year, but you're trying to work back from that and trying to get into the real rhythm of the season. But for you, what has it been like for you this season and playing for a new coach and everything that you've been through here at your Xavier career?
I would say, honestly, like, we haven't had, like, the best record right now, but, you know, being around my teammates and the coaches, like, they encourage us every day, like, step by step, like, we're going to get there. And then even being injured right now, like, seeing it not on the court, but like having eyes off the court. Like I'm able to show my teammates what I'm seeing on the sidelines now.
Taylor, what's it been like for you to wear the Xavier jersey this season and be here?
It's amazing. I'm experiencing new things, different things, put in a different position to teach people. I'm around internationals for my first time, so I'm actually loving it. I love everything about the team and the coaching staff and everything.
So when you say international players on the team, and you have to maybe make an adjustment. Maybe English isn't a first language, all of those things. It's the little things that maybe fans don't always think about. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I actually love, like, getting to learn things from them. We learn things from them. They learn things from us. It's kind of cool, like, seeing a different side of the world, actually.
Michaela, what do you think has been the biggest adjustment for getting such a new group of players together? I know it's under a new coach, too, so there's been a lot of transition. But for you, as somebody that has been with this program now for a few years, what's it been like for you?
I would say one of the hardest things would be learning like a new system. Like everybody's new, so we're all trying to learn it together rather than there being people who were under her before and coming in as a new incomer with people who already know and having questions for them type of thing.
Taylor, when you challenge yourself against a Big East schedule like this and you're playing all of these teams across this conference in such a talented league, and you look at the NCAA tournament success that this league had last year and trying to make yourself both personally a better player but also as a team, how much does that challenge you?
It challenged me a lot, coming from the American Conference. I'm playing new people every day, new talent, better people, bigger people. It's very challenging all over. You got to change your mindset going into the game and prepare better. So I feel like it's a new challenge all around.
All right, couple of rapid-fire questions for you. Real quick, we'll keep it quick. I know we're cold, so we'll keep it quick. Skyline or no Skyline?
No Skyline.
No?
No.
No? Why not? I had Skyline for dinner last night, and I had it for lunch today. 2 straight meals. 6 conies, no mustard, heavy onion. 3 each. Not all at one time.
In my defense, I don't like chili.
Really? Not any chili?
My defense, we don't eat sweet chili. Like down south, it's more like spicy.
Texas, it's different.
Yeah,
it's got a little kick to it, right?
Yeah.
It's different. It's a cultural adjustment, right?
Yes, very.
That's right. One other very quick question for you. I'm going to phrase this a different way. What is this experience here at Cintas been like for you over the last couple of years, being able to play in this environment here at Cintas?
I love it. Being able to play here for 4 years is definitely a dream, and like my parents being able to travel not too far to come watch me play, and just having the fans who come and support us every game, no matter the outcome.
I love it. Being in a town where it's only basketball is kind of new, so having as much fans that come out is kind of new to me too. So like Max said, the fans that come out and support us, we're very grateful for.
Taylor Purvis, Michaela Scarlett, thank you for both joining me here today. Go get warm. Go get warm. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll see you next time. This is the Big East Road Trip, sponsored by Invesco QQQ. Stick with us.
Yeah, the time keeps ticking. Life's mad short, so we gotta keep living. Hey, so turn it up. Hey, don't ever stop. Party, bring the fun, bring the juice. All the haters, all the players, cut them loose. It's time to shine, best believe. Yeah, it's time to shine, yes indeed. We're my girls, now let's roll. We're turning it up. Yeah, it's time to go. Where the party at? Gotta bring some soul. Yeah, we hit it with the good stuff, Yeah, where the party at? Where the party at?
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
D'Artagnan and the Blue Blob having some fun tonight with the Big East Championship Trophy. Who is going to take that home in March from Madison Square Garden? You think it's a long time away, but it's not. It's right around the corner, just 2 months away from one of the greatest weeks of the year out in New York City. All right, I'm joined now again by the co-host of the Sean Miller podcast, Adam Baum. Adam, thanks for joining me here tonight. We are not done with you yet.
Yeah.
We thought we were done with you. We're not done. You came sprinting back here to the set because we have some picks to make for tonight's game. All right. There are 3 Big East games tonight. We're going to start with St. John's and Providence. This game is a big one for both teams. Who you got?
You know, it's hard to pick against St. John's right now, especially with some of the things Providence is dealing with. I do like the way they competed at Creighton, even with Bryce Hopkins going down, but I think I'm going to take the Red Storm tonight.
I also think I'm going to take the Red Storm tonight. St. John's, the way that they've been playing lately, look, they won at the Pavilion last week for the first time in forever. I mean, it's been, 3 decades since St. John's had won at the Pavilion at Villanova. And not only was it a win, it was a convincing win at that. So to go there and do that, that's enough for me to see St. John's over Providence. Before we get to Xavier and UConn, Marquette and Butler, the late game tonight, which team do you have?
It's at Butler?
Yes.
Yeah. I like the
at
way
Marquette. At
Marquette.
My bad.
Okay,
at Marquette.
That makes the pick a little easier.
At Marquette.
Yeah, I'm going to go Marquette. I think they're coming off that tough loss against Seton Hall. I think they're going to be hungry. I think this is a get back on track game, but I think Butler's going to be a team this year in the Big East that no one's going to have the ability to overlook. I think that they're going to be tough for a lot of teams.
I really like what Thad Matta has done with these Butler Bulldogs. It's really hard to go to Marquette and win a basketball game.
Very hard.
I'm taking Marquette in that one. And the one that we are here to see tonight, Xavier and UConn. Adam, who do you have tonight?
This is, I think when I think about this game, I think about all the ways that UConn can win. They're that good. They're that tough. But the one thing I keep thinking about is Sean Miller has talked time and time again about we're never going to be playing our best basketball in November or December. If that's true, if this team is capable of getting better, I think it has to start tonight. I think I have to go Xavier, or else they might not let me back in the building.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say that when you look at how Xavier and UConn stack up tonight and what Xavier needs if they want to start building an NCAA tournament resume, because I don't think Xavier right now has a resume that's indicative of really much even being in the conversation. They're on the precipice, as they say. John Rothstein always talks about putting yourself in position to be in position.
Yep.
If you want to do that, you have to win a game like this in front of your home fans tonight. You have to go out there and get a job like this done, a quad 1 win. Without Donovan Clingan, I think it starts tonight for Xavier. I think they get the job done.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see. All right, we'll be back with Val Ackerman, the commissioner of the Big East, right after this on the Big East Road Trip, sponsored by Invesco QQQ.
The time is always right.
To stand up against hate and bigotry.
The time is always right.
To face racism head on.
As we honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Let's remember his words that challenge us.
Let's consider the impact of our actions.
We should strive to be more than just champions in sports,
but also to be champions in the pursuit of justice and equality. The time is always right.
The time is always right to do what is right.
And that time
is now.
Welcome back to the Big East Road Trip. This has been a very fun night, albeit chilly here outside the Cintas Center, but we wouldn't want it any other way. The students that have been here since 5:30 this morning are going to be plenty warm in about 2 hours when Xavier and UCONN tip off here at one of the best venues in this conference. Paul Fritchner joined now by a very special guest, the commissioner of our Big East Conference, Val Ackerman. Val, it is great to see you. It's great to be here with you. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Paul. It's great to be here. I'm a little chilly, but that's life in the Big East in the wintertime with our northeastern and midwestern schools. But it's a great night, and thrilled to be here for this very special occasion.
The Big East Road Trip's debut here tonight in Cincinnati, and wouldn't want it any other way than to start right here outside a venue like this. What is this event like for you all, and what you're hoping this event becomes around the conference?
Well, this is a very exciting initiative for us, the Big East Road Trip, and this is our inaugural stop. And I want to start by thanking our partners, Playfly, who helped put this together. It's taken a lot of effort over the last several weeks to come together to be here tonight. Xavier has done an amazing job hosting us with the first stop on the tour. As you mentioned, the students have been here. We know you're right, it really is one of the best venues in college basketball, in my opinion. It's just a great building, great size, animated fans. So it just seemed like the perfect way to start the road trip. We'll be going on 13 stops over the coming weeks, hitting all Big East cities, and then culminating with stops at our men's and our women's basketball tournaments at Madison Square Garden and Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. So a lot of fun lies ahead, and this is just a way for us to give back to our fans who've been so supportive, and it just gives them a little bit of an extra taste of what the Big East is all about.
The Big East Championship trophy right over here to our right. And I was just saying that it feels like a long time away, Val, but really when you break down the calendar, we're just 2 short months away from crowning a champion in this league. And albeit conference play might have just started a couple of weeks ago, but time flies. And the way that this league is set up this year, you want to savor every moment of it, because there are so many storylines, there are so many games that have incredible amounts of intrigue, and the league has positioned itself really well.
Well, it's another great year on the court, obviously, in men's and women's basketball. On the men's side, as you know, the conference play has started. The games are, you almost can't call them in the Big East because of how competitive play is. We've got teams that are nationally ranked. We've got other teams that are making their presence felt over the course of the last few games. We've got a lot of great basketball ahead. And as you noted, we always end with a bang with the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden. I think it's our 42nd year. I've lost track. But it promises to be another great tournament for us. And then on the women's side, we found a great home in Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. So a lot of great basketball lies ahead.
What do you think you're most looking forward to as you travel around the conference? You see these venues, these students, these coaches that are on your sidelines. What excites you the most about the power of this conference right now?
Well, I've only been part of this league for the last 10 years, but always think about the history of the Big East. Been around since 1979, started as a basketball conference, became something else, and then the last 10 years, we've really been back to our origins as a league focused on basketball, very, very competitive in the sport, very successful nationally. Obviously, Xavier will have a formidable opponent tonight with UCONN, defending national champion in men's basketball. But I think a lot about the history of the league. It's sort of an honor for me and my staff to be carrying on sort of the traditions of the conference. I think mostly as well about our people. We've got great coaches, amazing administrators. Our presidents are very committed to the success of the league at all levels. Speaking for me and my staff, it's just an honor to be doing this job.
How cold are you right now, Val?
I'm a little bit cold, but someone got me. My good colleague Nicole got me a Big East jacket here, so I may not give this back. But that's what life in the Big East is all about in the wintertime.
Well, we will let you go get warm. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes here today on the Big East Road Trip. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Great being with you.
This has been the Big East Road Trip, the inaugural one from the Cintas Center. Xavier and the 4th-ranked Connecticut Huskies set to go just after 8:30 tonight on Fox Sports 1, a marquee game in the Big East Conference. The students are ready, we are ready, and we will be here with you on FS1. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Big East Road Trip.